You must not, you will not. Stop now, stop now.
Coming to you. Coming to you.
My brother, come on. Good afternoon and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai MM, come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at some of the major stories. FEC approves Medipool to lower drug prices. Court set 13 to hear Senator Akpabio's contempt claims against Natasha, May 13. Plus, China lifts Boeing ban after U.S. trade talks. Waiting you react long like that. Waiting happen. You say? Ooh. Yes, I'm Raja. It's off the AC when I'm cold. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First on the news at this hour is that the federal government has approved a new policy known as Medipool, which may lower the cost of drugs and other medical consumables for Nigerians. This was part of the decisions reached at the Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. The coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, said Medipool is a group of purchasing organization for competitive pricing to be a supplier of essential medicine and healthcare products across Nigeria. According to him, Medipool was developed to consolidate the demand from basic healthcare centers and federal tertiary hospitals, enabling the government to leverage bulk purchasing power to lower medical costs. He noted that the Medipool model was benchmarked against similar initiatives in countries such as Kenya, South Africa, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia. He emphasized that the administration aims to support all manufacturing, promote import substitution, and ensure Nigerians have access to high-quality, affordable medicine. Aviation sector, with the revised regulation specifically designed to ease aircraft financing and support the growth of local airline operators. The minister announced this in a signed statement by the spokesperson to the ministry, Odutayo Oluseyi. The minister said the revised insurance regulations are expected to boost the aviation sector, improve irrevocable deregistration and export request authorization, allow local operators to cede up to 90% of risk to international markets under certain conditions, and it is in line with the Cape Town Convention, which gears towards acquisition and financing of aircraft. The Commissioner for Insurance and NICOM CEO Olusegun Omosayin said the Commission has fully embraced the initiative, emphasizing the benefits of the new regulation. Meanwhile, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has disclosed that Nigeria is set to receive telecommunications equipment and fiber optic infrastructure worth $3 billion in June 2025. Speaking during a panel session at the Nigeria Development Update (NDU) organized by the World Bank, Tijani revealed that the equipment valued at $1 billion was expected to arrive in the country by mid-2025. He added that an additional $2 billion worth of fiber optic cables would soon be delivered to boost Nigeria's telecommunications infrastructure. According to him, the initiative aims to significantly enhance communication services across the country and bridge the connectivity gap. We move over now to the judiciary, where Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned till today, May 13, for the definite hearing of the contempt claims made against the suspended senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Justice Nyako fixed the date following the submission of the second and third defendants, who stated that an application by them is before the court, drawing its attention to the alleged contempt of the plaintiff. At the resumed hearing, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan's legal team, led by Jibrin Otuka, informed the courts that the matter was slated for hearing as previously adjourned. He added that the court had asked parties in the suit to file relevant documents, which they had done, and that they were ready to proceed. Still within the judiciary, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt has adjourned until May 26, 2025, a suit challenging the suspension of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy Professor Ngozi Odu, and the entire State House of Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. The suit was instituted by former federal lawmaker and 2023 Rivers State governorship aspirant under the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Farah Dagogo. Recall that on March 18, 2025, President Tinubu declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, citing security concerns. He subsequently suspended the state's democratically elected leadership and appointed Vice Admiral Ibogete, retired, as the sole administrator of Rivers State. In response, Dagogo filed a suit arguing that the president's actions were unconstitutional and beyond the powers conferred on him by law. At the hearing yesterday, Ibas of all the defendants appeared through his counsel, Kehinde Ogunjimi San, who requested additional time to file a response to the originating summons. Justice Adamu Mohammed granted the request, but warned that the matter would proceed on the next adjourned date regardless of further delays. We move now to Africa, where Trump's administration has welcomed a small group of white South Africans as refugees, saying they face discrimination and violence at home, which raised questions from refugee advocates about why the group should be admitted when the Trump administration has suspended efforts to resettle people who are fleeing war and persecution and have gone through years of vetting before coming to the United States. The Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, and Homeland Security Deputy Secretary Troy Edgar, while receiving the group from South Africa, including children at Dulles International Airport outside Washington, said the U.S. respects the long tradition of the people and what they have accomplished over the years. Recall that President Donald Trump told reporters early on Monday that he is admitting them as refugees because of the genocide that's taking place in their country, which is something the South African government has strongly denied. Still in Africa, Finland's President Alexander Stubbs is on a 3-day state visit to Kenya, the first ever by Finnish head of state to the African country. Kenya and Finland on Monday signed 2 agreements in political consultations, peace mediation, and conflict resolution. Speaking during a news conference after bilateral talks, Stubbs and his Kenyan counterpart, President William Ruto, reaffirmed their joint commitment to the implementation of the Kenya-European Union Economic Partnership Agreement, which came into force July 2024. Stubbs lauded Kenya as a country with a global voice on peace and conflict resolution. On the foreign scene, China has lifted a ban on domestic airlines accepting new Boeing aircraft after Beijing and Washington agreed to temporarily lower tariffs in a major de-escalation of their trade war. Recall that last month, the American aircraft maker confirmed that Chinese airlines had stopped accepting delivery of new planes due to huge tit-for-tat levies imposed by both sides. But reports say Chinese officials have begun to tell domestic carriers they can resume orders of U.S.-made aircraft. The news comes after the two countries announced they would drastically reduce tariffs for 90 days as well as continue negotiations. Still on the foreign scene, U.S. officials have said that the State Department has authorized the sale of $1.4 billion worth of military aircraft and equipment to the United Arab Emirates ahead of President Donald Trump's visit this week. The officials from the State Department Bureau of Political Military Affairs said in a statement that the proposed sale of the Gulf states involves 6 CH-47F Chinook helicopters and other equipment for $1.32 billion that would support the foreign policy and national security of the United States. They said, I beg your pardon, the UAE will use these assets in search and rescue, disaster relief, humanitarian support, and counter-terrorism operations. Reports say Trump is scheduled to visit the oil-rich states of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE this week to discuss diplomatic needs on Gaza and Iran, along with major business deals that could touch on anything from defense and aviation to energy and artificial intelligence. Still to come in the news. High Court says Flying Eagles will fight for a trophy after picking 2025 Under-20 AFCON ticket. Stay with us for details of this and more in a moment.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Rescon your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now we bring you the concluding part on the news at this hour. On a business news, the World Bank has projected that Nigeria's inflation rate will average 22.1% in 2025, attributing the anticipated decline to the Central Bank of Nigeria's tight monetary stance aimed at restoring price stability and anchoring inflation expectations. The projection was contained in a statement published on the World Bank's website following the formal launch of the latest edition of the Nigeria Development Update Report in Abuja. The biannual report, titled Building Momentum for Inclusive Growth, assesses recent economic trends and policy responses and outlines priorities for sustaining reforms and promoting inclusive growth. According to the report, while macroeconomic indicators have improved significantly, particularly GDP growth, revenue mobilization and fiscal consolidation, headline inflation remains a pressing concern. Still in business, the Debt Management Office has opened subscriptions for a 300 billion naira Series V11 in Jara Sukuk to fund critical road projects across the country. The offer, opened yesterday, would bring together subscriptions so far to about 1.09 trillion naira. The issuance of the new 300 billion naira Series V11 Sukuk is part of the federal government's broader infrastructure financing strategy. Reports say so far over 4,000 kilometers of roads across the country have been financed through Sukuk. On our health news, the chairman of the steering committee for the proposed National Health Facility Regulation Agency, Dr. Richardson Ajayi, has expressed concerns over the lack of regulatory oversight on healthcare facilities in Nigeria, warning that the vacuum is directly fueling quackery, worsening brain drain and eroding public trust in the healthcare system. The physician warned that the absence of such regulation puts millions of Nigerians at risk and has contributed to the proliferation of substandard facilities and unqualified operators in the sector. Speaking with journalists, Ajayi lamented that while healthcare professionals such as doctors are regulated by bodies like the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, there is currently no national standard or regulatory framework ensuring that hospitals and clinics themselves meet basic safety and operational benchmarks. He described this gap as one of the most dangerous oversights in the country's health system. Still in health, stakeholders have called on the federal government to establish specialized screening centers for lupus across the country to improve early diagnosis and reduce complications arising from the autoimmune disease. They said that with the unavailability of screening centers, the illness would continue to evade diagnosis, pointing out that its ability to imitate other diseases' symptoms makes it stay unseen for longer. Reports say lupus is a disease that occurs when the body's immune system attacks its own tissues and organs. The inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including the joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and lungs. We move now to sports, where Flying Eagles goalkeeper Ebenezer Harcourt has said that the team will now push to win the title at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations after securing a berth at the World Cup. Nigeria defeated defending champion Senegal 3-1 on penalties in a fiercely contested quarter-final tie in Ismaila on Monday. Aliyu Zubairu's side will now face the Amajita of South Africa in the semi-final at the Suez Canal Stadium, Ismaila, on Thursday. Harcourt, who made two superb saves in the shootout win against Senegal, stated that they want to become African champions again. Still in sports, Andy Murray will no longer be working as Novak Djokovic's coach. The decision, said to be by mutual agreement, means Murray will not be by Djokovic's side when he chases an 8th Wimbledon title in July. Djokovic, a 24-time Grand Slam champion, joined forces with Murray in November. Under Murray, the Serb reached the semi-finals of the Australian Open, ultimately retiring injured after losing the first set. Lastly, on the news at this hour in entertainment, Kim Kardashian is set to testify today in the trial of 10 people accused of robbing her at gunpoint in a Paris hotel suit in 2016. Her stylist Simone Harshe, who was in the apartment at the time, tells the court she had heard Kardashian plead for her life, and though the worst during the attack. Recall that the reality TV star and businesswoman was targeted in her luxury suit during Paris Fashion Week. Reports say jewels worth millions of dollars were taken from her, including a $4 million diamond engagement ring from her then-husband, Kanye West. In the trial, which began in late April, all but 2 of the accused have pleaded not guilty to the armed robbery. And that's all we have in the news out this hour. Do well to follow us on social media, all of which you can find at SpectrumTVLive.ng. Do well to like our YouTube page and also follow the conversation. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12 a.m. We are MM. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.
Of knowledge, fun, and entertainment you experience on Spectrum Television can never be overstated, especially when you get them all at once. At Spectrum Television, we start your day with insightful political and social discussion, a spotlight on Africa and the world's view. On well-being, we prioritize your health and mental space, staying fit and achieving goals. Stay updated with the business world of financial markets and global economic analysis. We bring you all the latest from the world of sports and cutting-edge innovations, looking at the future of tech on Tech Insights, and stay updated with the latest in entertainment and music on Entertainment Now. Our carefully crafted content is designed to broaden your horizons and keep you informed and entertained. You won't want to miss a minute.
Shower you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions.
Watch Spectrum Television live on free-to-air. Scan your decoder to continue receiving the best of our signals, or stream live at www.spectrumtvlive.ng. For more inquiries, call 0704 158 5642. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Risk on your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television.